Hi, you're listening to Tailspin. I'm Melanie. One of the extraordinary things that's developed from producing this podcast is meeting really open-hearted people and being able to call it research. I met Ann through a mutual friend about a year ago. Ann Wellman is the creator and director of the Long Beach Community Theater. I've performed in several of the Long Beach Community Theater productions, and I've met really wonderful, open-hearted people. This episode of Tailspin is part one of the Best production that was recorded live at the Long Beach Playhouse in February 2017. First you will hear from Ann herself, then music by Rachael Gualindo, a story by me called Lost, then Wynn Henry with Woman Poem Number 2.
Good evening and welcome to the Best show. My name is Ann Wellman and I'm the artistic director and the founder of the Long Beach Community Theater. I'd like to start by thanking you all for coming tonight and supporting your local community theater. We appreciate that very much. I have to say we're beyond thrilled to be here tonight at our city's oldest theater, the beautiful Long Beach Playhouse. Tonight's performance is meant to be a celebration of the completion of the first 3 seasons as a theater company. Over the past 3 years, we've had 89 participants share their personal story using any form of creative expression they like. Anyone that has participated or come to the shows knows that this community theater is 100% about lifting people up. Coming together as a community and allowing the participants to have a voice while expressing their creativity. I'm proud to say there is not a community theater that exists like this anywhere, only in Long Beach, California. Tonight's performance is a little different as I hand-selected the cast from our first 3 seasons. Some you will relate to, some you will not, but all are choosing to be open, honest, vulnerable, and brave enough to stand before you and share their story. Without further ado, please put your hands together to welcome our first performer of the night, Rachael Gualindo, as she shares 2 songs on love and heartbreak.
we keep away from what brings me pain. And I know this is not all your fault, but I must cease from story knots. And it's strange, baby, how we've changed. And it's hard to put out every spark. Please forgive me. I can't forgive you. Please forgive me. I won't forgive you. Something's gotta give for us. Finally been too long of unsettling embrace. And I know I made my own mistakes, causing you pain. And you must cease from story knots. But it's strange, baby, how we changed. And it's hard to put out every spark between us. But maybe now it's safe. The only path to take. With each class, no more chances. We were just in vain. Poison in my veins. Yes. Poison in my veins. With each class, no more chances. We were just in vain. Poison in my veins.
Thank you. So I'm seated in the bed of my mom's 1988 Toyota pickup truck. I'm in the camper shell, and above my head hang found treasures. Broken wind chimes, keychains, things erratically affixed to the wood paneling. I used to call my mom's truck the Gypsy Wagon because you could hear it turn a corner from 3 blocks away as everything rattled around. Seated across from me is my mom, and in her hand, a small brown ring box. In her eyes, a look of anticipation. But her face is sallow. Her arms are bruised, pockmarked, and she's way too thin. My mom is addicted to speed. This truck is her home, and it's my 16th birthday. By my junior year in high school, I lived with my dad full-time, and I didn't know when I'd expect to see my mom. I would page her. Sometimes she'd call me back. Sometimes it was an angry stranger. Sometimes she'd show up at my dad's house to do things like ask for money or hose off her futon mattress on the front lawn. My stepmom loved that one. Today, as I walked out of Wilson High School, I saw the Gypsy Wagon parked on the street. I approached the back, I knocked on the door to the camper shell, And the truck rattled and shook, and the dog barked, and the objects rang. And my mom opened the door, half crawling, half lurching, like a wild animal released into suburban daylight for the first time. I take the ring box from her hand, and as I'm opening it, she says, "It's so delicate, it made me think of you." And it's a small golden ring, a fine band, with 2 little diamonds. It's shaped like a right and a left hand touching at the fingertips. It's lovely. And as I look at it, it's surprising because it's not like anything I would wear, and it wasn't like anything my mom would notice. She told me she made payments on it. And the image of my mom in her stretched out clothes and stained, barefoot, going into a store to make a payment for anything was touching. This was an amazing feat in this stage of my mom's downward spiral. She had been a nurse with an apartment, a teenage daughter, a brand new truck. And now she's using and abusing and living in that truck, which is usually parked outside the garage where her boyfriend lives. I took the ring and I put it on the middle finger of my left hand, and it stayed there for years and years. I wore it when I graduated from high school. When I was 20 years old and my mom decided to get clean and moved up to the Bay Area to live with her sister. I got in the habit of twisting it nervously, which is what I was doing when I flew up to Oakland when I was 21 years old, and I was going to see her after she'd been clean for a year. I was wearing the ring when I graduated from college, when I got my first teaching job, when I traveled to Kathmandu and Central America and Europe. I was wearing that ring when I was 30 years old, and I drove up to Oakland to surprise my mom for her 10-year clean date. Not long after that, I was on vacation for my teaching job. It was the first day of Christmas vacation, and I was in the shower, and I reached for the ring to twist it like I always did, and it wasn't there. I looked at my hand, and all I could see was the crevice of where I had sat for 14 years. I could see where the 2 diamonds had pushed into my skin, but there was no ring. And frantically, I searched the bottom of the shower looking for it. I searched the bathroom, the bedroom, the living room, my car. I called friends to help me with fresh eyes. My dad came over and pulled apart the plumbing in my bathroom. I looked everywhere, and it was gone. I was devastated, and I grieved. I grieved for my ring. And I grieved for that little girl raised by drug addicts. I grieved for the stability she hadn't known. And with heaving weeps, I grieved for the burdens she still carried. No matter how many times I begged for my mom's forgiveness, she continued to say, "It's fine, sweetie, that kind of thing happens," but I couldn't let it go. In awe of my own suffering, I had to reflect. I hadn't lost my mom. I'd lost a ring, an artifact. I'd created a whole new life. I'd created stability. More than that, I'd created community and love and adventure. I was sad, but I was okay. I came to learn just how often I reached for that ring, because every time I felt the crevice in my hand, my stomach lurched. But I went on. And at the end of my vacation, I returned to work, and as I was walking across the quad area at my school, I noticed the custodian hosing the ground down. And as an afterthought, a hopeless afterthought, I approached him and I said, I lost this little gold ring. I'm sure it's not here, but if you happen to run into it. And he said, "Oh, yeah, I'll let you know." Not a minute later, my classroom door opens and the custodian walks in with his hand extended and in his fingers is my ring. I couldn't believe it. He told me that right after I'd mentioned it, he'd looked across the quad and saw it right under the soda machine in a tiny sparkle. That means that while I lost and grieved and ached, processed and accepted, my ring had sat there the whole time. Immediately, I put it on my hand, and it still fit perfectly. It wasn't even loose. And it stayed there for several more years. When I got my master's degree, continued to travel, when I met my husband, I was trying on what would become my wedding ring. And when I looked at the two rings together, that small gold ring just didn't work. So I took it off. And now, on my dresser, in a jewelry box with other artifacts of my youth, odd earrings, charm bracelets, sits a small golden ring shaped like two hands touching at the fingertips. Thank you.
Somewhere an old woman sits alone, looking through her window, recounting shattered hopes and scattered dreams of life passing before her in milliseconds. Remembering time wasted on too many tasks left undone with hopeless regrets. She swore it would be different. If she could do it all again, no one would take her off her path. She wouldn't settle. She would stand up, speak up, and no longer be a martyr. If the two of you were to ever meet, her words of wisdom would say that you can live your own life. Sing your song in any key, and dreams are never too big. Sometimes they just need to relocate. So don't stay in one place too long. Don't leave too soon. But always leave $20 hidden away where no one else can find it. Find time to pray before sunrise. Watch your enemies and let God watch your friends, because they may be identical twins. Drink half your weight in water every day and fast every once in a while to keep your spirit clean. Be kind to stray cats. Dance in the rain when it pours. Remember, the grass is green on your side too, and it grows faster when you don't stand on it. Put big things in their place. Learn from your mistakes, even if you repeat them. Most of all, find another young one and teach her to live without regrets because of what you learned from me. Thank you.
This is Tailspin, and you're listening to the Long Beach Community Theater's Best of the Best production. This was recorded live at the Long Beach Playhouse. Next, we have Mick Hogland with his Marine Band, and Luis Ramirez, whose recreation of his youth shows us how he learned that not all heroes wear capes. After Luis is his partner, Stevie Blair Gomez, and a song called Scar of Love, written about their children. Last up is Celine Malanum with A Year of Black.
I am certain you recognize that melody, but you may or may not be familiar with this. I know that it is a harmonica, but specifically this is the German-made Hohner Marine Band. It is small, versatile, relatively inexpensive, and it's been around for over 100 years. And in the 1930s, there was a young boy that had his very own marine band, and he was learning how to play harmonica. He liked his marine band, but he was absolutely in love with another harmonica that was in the music store window. And that was the 64th harmonica. Now, you can see this is not small, and it's not inexpensive. But luck would have it, this boy had a very nice uncle that told him if he learned this song, and he learned it well, he would buy for him the 64 harmonica. The boy learned the song. The uncle kept his promise, and when that boy got that 64 harmonica, he was so inspired, he learned dozens of songs, and even several different instruments well into his adulthood. And this is a story I know very well, and the reason I do is because this is the story of the boy that grew up to be my father. He met my mother in the late 1950s, and they did what most couples did in the Eisenhower era. They got married, bought a suburban house, and started making babies. But before the making babies part, my father did something to make my mother upset. He bought a piece of furniture for their new house. And you may wonder why that would make my mother upset. Well, he didn't buy a sofa for them to sit down on. He didn't buy curtains for the windows. He bought a piano. And it was used, and a pretty ugly one at that. But my father felt that the piano was the most important piece of furniture in a household that was going to promote creativity. And that's the house I grew up in, and a pretty good place to be. My dad, he was small, skinny, frail, wimpy, if you will. I kind of inherited this wimpy gene, so I understand fully well the devastation my father went through when he was drafted to fight in World War II. But the interesting thing is became somewhat of a war hero. He survived malaria. Not in the South Pacific. He actually got malaria in boot camp and never left the United States. But I consider it a win-win situation because he got the GI Bill. The United States military did much better without him fighting for them. I can assure you that. You know, most fathers, they teach their sons to stand up and fend for yourself. Not my dad. My dad told me I should learn how to run fast. Well, I never fully appreciated my dad's parenting style until after he passed away. My dad experienced an early onset of something called Alzheimer's disease, which is a well-known disease now, but at the time we didn't know much about it. But we knew something was up, especially that day that he walked through the door and he hugged his wife. And I know that doesn't sound too unusual, but it was the wrong house and it was the wrong wife. Mr. Seven was so angry about that. But hey, we're all neighbors. And then there's the day that he took a walk around the block and he was gone for 6.5 hours. We were worried sick. And we were driving all over the place looking for my dad. I was the one that found him. Dad, get in the car. He sat down, he looked at me like he had seen me 5 minutes ago. I looked at him, and something was so oddly different about my dad. You see, my dad, I grew up with my dad sporting what I call the Boo Radley look. He rarely went outdoors, but on this day, he was gone out in the sun all day and he was tan. I'd never seen my father with a tan. He actually looked pretty good for someone that was completely losing it. And we knew it was about that time, the time for the nursing home. And when you see somebody using Comet Cleanser to season their food, you know that they need 24/7. And it was in the nursing home that he lost the ability to differentiate between the nurses and his own wife. Of course, I think he might have been faking that one. I don't know for sure. But there is one thing I do know for sure, and that was my father's last ability, and that was to play his music. He was playing piano. In his face, it was so serious, like he was playing for the London Philharmonic, when in reality it was only for two elderly gentlemen dancing in their pajamas. That piano is now in my suburban house. And the 64 harmonica that his uncle gave to him, this is it. This is the same for one, and unfortunately this is not playable anymore. Thank you.
This many years old. Me papi went on a business trip. He bought me a surprise when he came back. Look, it's a plane. Oh no. Papi, we can fix it. Mommy, Daddy, Papi, don't fight. I'm sorry, we can fix it. I'm sorry. Oh, hi. I'm Luis, and I'm 8 years old, and I love video games, and I love comics, and I love Janjo! Shh. Gotta be quiet. Mommy's sleeping. She's tired. Well, she works as mommy and daddy. She told me so. But I help too. I help clean up. I take care of my little brother. And you know what? Sometimes he thinks I'm his dad or something. So, I'm Louis. I'm 15. My mom met a guy. Now they're gonna get married? Why ruin a good thing for me? I help clean. I take care of my little brother. I clean the house. I even color my mom's hair. I'm the man of the house! Hi. I'm Louis. I'm 18. And thanks to my mom and dad, I just graduated high school. You know, I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. But I did it. Uh-oh. Now I got to find a job. Okay. I can handle this. Let's see. I like comics. I like cars. I like girls. Now, what job can I get to combine all that? Hey, how you guys doing? I'm lost. Would you believe it? I just turned 30. And I just bought a house. Burger? Anybody? Burger? Anyway, so I just bought this house and now I'm married and sometimes I gotta act like a dad to my own wife. Yeah. I love this house though. Oh, hi guys. Would you believe it? Let me say something real quick. I'm divorced and I met this beautiful woman, and she's got this beautiful 8-year-old daughter. Well, we married, and we decided to have one of our own. Can you believe it? I'm 40, and I'm a dad. Uh-oh. Oh, no. By the time she graduates high school, I'm going to be 60? Oh, my God! Please forgive my somber tone. I just came back from my dad's funeral. Wow, I miss him. There's an old African proverb that says, when an elder dies, a library burns down. Well, my dad taught me a couple important rules. Rule number 1, always keep your promises. Rule number 2, love your kids. You don't have to like them, but you gotta love them. And rule number 3, raise your child, not your hand. Kids, remember, it shapes them. Well, at least you got a chance to meet my daughter. Here I am, 45 years old, and I'm well versed in Hello Kitty. My favorite colors are pink and purple. And boy, do I love rainbows and unicorns. Oh. Coming, mija, coming. Well, folks, you're going to have to excuse me because, believe it or not, it's tea time. Coming, mija, coming. Folks, Thank you for listening.
I'm so happy to be here, and I thank the Lord above that I might share a story of a scar of love. Belly fruit, fruit of the womb, I love you round the earth and to the moon. You're my Bailey Rose and little Jessie Maggie May. Well, you're two unique beauties, hell-raising cuties, tender kisses mama never misses. Bailey Rose and little Jessie Maggie May. Well, if they'd offered me free plastic surgery, I'd gladly decline, because this 8-inch scar is my lucky star, because that's where you came out, no doubt you're mine. Well, I got a tweener and a toddler, the drama and the baller, cleaning up your messes, getting tangles out of tresses. Bailey Rose and little Jessie Maggie May. Well, if they'd offered me free plastic surgery, I'd gladly decline. Well, you can tuck my arms, but not this lucky charm, 'cause that's where you came out. You're my loves, you're mine. Well, you came out like a thriller, and the waking was a killer on my hip dysplasia, but I wouldn't change a thing. No, 'cause you're my Bailey Rose and little Jessie Maggie May. My belly fruit, my fruit of the womb, I love you round the earth and to the moon. I love you, my Bailey Rose and little Jessie Maggie May. Thank you.
You spent 2013 in the dark. You wore head to toe black for 365 days, and not because it's slimming or in fashion. Your mother died, and you were deep in mourning. That was the year you cleared out every Ross, every Marshalls, clean out of every black blouse, black stretchy skirt, black kimono jacket. If it was black and it fit, you bought it. I remember your box of socks, compression socks, trouser socks, control tops, knee highs, all the nudes and whites picked out, leaving only black. Mom, you wore black hosiery for 365 days. That is literally my personal nightmare. But your shroud of black was your security blanket. It comforted you. It anchored you. It gave you definition. Your black turtlenecks in August marked you motherless woman. You reminded me of all those other folks that need everybody to know something about them, so they blast their beliefs and their blessings on their bumpers. You know, like, look at my family in descending size order of our flip-flops. Or, I'm not of this world. Really? Because I'm from Long Beach. And my personal favorite, look guys, can we just coexist? You, Mom, needed everybody to know something about you too. You needed the bank teller, the grocery store checker, everybody at church to know. I am grieving. I am mourning. I am lost. So, pay me no compliments. Don't text me. Don't ask how I'm doing, or I will fall apart. Don't look me in the eye and don't use so gentle a voice, or I will explode here in the Walgreens pharmacy. I will fall to the floor, keening and rocking and wailing. I just go sakit. My God, how it hurts, my God. Lord. Mom, here's the thing, and don't get mad at me, but black, all this black isn't your color. It weighs you down. You with the ageless, flawless golden skin? You who owns fistfuls of 24-karat gold jewelry. You who has traveled the world alone by choice. Now, you don't have to be a woman who wears black for a year. Because I remember you. I remember you in a sleeveless, clingy knit white dress cut high above the knee. Burgundy snakeskin slingback high heels. You doused yourself with interlude perfume. We smelled you coming a block away. You stopped traffic. You in a crisp white lab coat, your name embroidered in cursive in Egyptian blue like a goddess, a woman's name above all men, Emilia. I remember you in a scoop neck, cap sleeve, powder blue tee. The cotton was thin and you didn't wear a bra. As you leaned back laughing into Dad, your hair caught in the Catalina breeze. You in traditional Filipino costumes, emeralds and marigolds, sashes and starched butterfly sleeves. Mom, you danced barefoot on stage. You balanced a lit candle in each hand and one on your head. Pandango sa ilaw. The dance of light. You dance with fire on your head, Mom. You don't have to be a woman who wears black for a year. But you changed. And who did you become? Who do we become when we lose the person who has loved us the longest? Who did you become when you no longer had to parse out pills and mix Ovaltine and wear those awful Arctic blue medical nitrile gloves? But more importantly, Mom, who are you now? Because I remember you just this past August at my sister's wedding. You wore a two-piece skirt suit, embroidered gold flowers. You had the skirt hemmed up to show off your brand new rhinestone gold wedges. You had your hair done. They rouged your cheeks. Mom, you chose pearl earrings the size of nickels. And you looked radiant that day, just as you were achingly beautiful each of those 365 days of black. And how many colors is your womanhood, Mom? And you have the right to them all. But while we still walk this world together, it is my duty as your daughter to remind you each and every morning that your favorite color has always been yellow. Thank you.
That was the Long Beach Community Theater's production of The Best of the Best, live at the Long Beach Playhouse, Act 1. Make sure you pay attention for our next episode so you can hear Act 2. I'd like to thank Rachael Gualindo, Wynn Henry, Mick Hogland, Luis Ramirez, Stevie Blair Gomez, Celine Malanum, and most of all, Ann Wellman for bringing us all together.
Look up! Look up! Look up! Keep your eyes focused on the beautiful, ever-changing